We'll be making the engine block for the inline air engine. Basically, it's going to be the same configuration as the radial air engine, but all the cylinders will be in a row all together in an inline configuration. I'll be using this to make the engine block. One of the problems I did have with this is the tube I use for the cylinder liner is a 17/32 tube. However, I didn't have a drill bit that size, so this was kind of my practice board to figure out what I was going to do, because I had a 1/2-inch drill bit and I had bigger drill bits, but they didn't. The bigger ones came out too big, and you could fill that space in with glue. And the 1/2-inch one was, of course, too small. So what I did is basically took a piece of the tube and attached it to a 1/2-inch dowel. Kind of roughed up the end, made some notches. I used that to widen the 1/2-inch hole. So now it's a perfect fit. So how we'll do this, cut out our pattern, of course. Basically, like, fold it up. Cut the block out first to the right size, of course. And we'll attach the pattern on here. Pretty much the same as all my other projects. I put tape on first, then with a smaller pattern like this, I use a glue stick to attach it. And I'll drill out the cylinders, cut this, and fix it in that. Well, we'll cut it off and then we'll fix those in place. This is the pattern attached to my block of wood. Actually it's a painter's tape I'm using this time. Comes off a little easier. Gonna drill pilot holes, and then we'll use those holes to guide the 1/2-inch bit. Alright, set our depth with this guy. We need to just get past the line. It should be good right there. Let's start in the middle. Let's turn. There, they're cut out. Now we'll ream them out a little bigger with the special makeshift drill bit that I made. I made some adjustments to the end, kind of tapered them in a little bit. Now it's working much better. So that went much easier. Basically, this one ended up a little bigger. Some of these were bent out a little bit, so it was catching a little bit, but I can build that up with glue and it should be fine. I'm going to cut it off here. Before I do, I'm going to make some small pilot holes in here that don't go very deep. Those will be for mounting screws later on. Here I have the finished engine, or at least not finished, but the cylinders are all bored out. Got my pilot points for the screws that'll mount on in here later. Basically a small brass screw is what I plan on using to put the supports on here. So what I'm going to do next is I have to cut my tubes. I'm always trying different ways to get a better cut on the tubes, something that's fast yet doesn't squish or deform the tube at all. Because if you deform the tube, the piston isn't going to slide. We want it to slide freely. It's better to have a piston that slides freely with a little air loss than one that's too tight and doesn't move at all. So we'll just mark it off. Use this as a guide and mark off the sections, and we'll cut 4 of those. Basically I have this kind of a jig, I suppose you'd call it, rigged up for cutting dowels and tubes, and cut it on my scroll saw. I've done it on the bandsaw as well. I'm going to try the scroll saw. It's going to take a little longer, but I'm hoping to get a little cleaner cut. Alright, results are a little less than square, but should be alright. Well, I had less than ideal results on these. Well, it worked on the scroll saw. We're going to go try the bandsaw again. This time I have a 1/2 inch dowel stuck in. That's going to make sure that it's going to support the brass while I cut it off. The reason I didn't like the scroll saw results is it didn't come out as square as I would have liked. But where is a piece of plastic, I guess? Looks like it might have came out a little better. Have to do. Alright, that's the second one. I'm going to just trim the edge a little bit. Actually, I think I did this one already. The other side's pretty rough. It doesn't matter quite as much. Piston shouldn't go down that far, so it should never catch that. Now, as you set them up, typically one side's going to work better than... Well, this one's nice and round. The last one, it only slid nice one way, so I marked on the tube which way, I'm not sure if you can see that, but which way I want it to go in the engine block when I glue it. So it slides nice. This one slides perfectly anyway, so might do that with the rest of them on the bandsaw. So I'll just go right in here. We're going to have to sand off a lip there that's keeping me from being able to push it in. See if I go the other way it works. As I push them in, I'm going to actually use the tube through it. Or not the tube, but the dowel to keep the glue from going in it. By the time I got to the last one, I pretty much had it down to a science. I cut it off, leaving the dowel that I had in it. Cut it off on the bandsaw. Then took it right over to I have a little disc in my my drill press. Cleaned off the edges right away, right on that, just by turning it with the. Now we're going to just swab the inside with some wood glue, the silver grain, and hold this in place. We'll score it a little bit with some sandpaper, and we should be pretty good. We'll start right. I'm going to just take some glue. I have some glue here. I'm going to swab glue on the inside here. Just shove these guys in. Gotta be quick about it because otherwise it'll stick. We won't be able to get it all the way like that one right there. Come on. It's not going. Come on. Oh, there it is. Well, that went less than ideal on that one, but we'll do better on the next. Alright, that's pretty good. We're going to let that set up. It's a little off, but it should center up. And when we shellac it, it'll seal it, and we'll seal around the openings that are formed when we drill out these larger holes here as well.